Hi, my name is Jay Sugarman, and I want to welcome you to Innovation Showcase. The main purpose of this ongoing series is to inform viewers about exciting innovations and creative individuals across the fields of business, science, technology, education, and the arts. Today, via Zoom, we're fortunate to have as our guests Mia Wengen, David Kelly, Gene Steele, and Janie Ho, all of whom were involved with the inaugural Newton Children's Book Festival. This noteworthy event will be taking place on December 14th at the New Arts Center. During the program, we're finding out why and how the festival came about. We'll hear about the wide range of authors and illustrators who will be participating and the engaging activities and opportunities that will be available for those attending. In the end, we'll come to better understand and appreciate the festival's aims to celebrate diverse voices and stories, to welcome authors from marginalized communities, and to help foster understanding, empathy, and connection across different cultures and experiences. Let's start by meeting our guest and then hearing all about the Newton Children's Book Festival. Welcome. So delighted you're all able to be here. As a former elementary school teacher, I was very excited to hear about the upcoming festival, eager to hear more and have you inform viewers. But before we jump right to that, I also think it would be of interest to hear just a little bit more about each of your backgrounds, your writing, illustrating, perhaps professional interests. Mia, would you please start?
Sure. Hi, I'm Mia Wengen. I started blogging in 2009, pragmaticmom.com, and it was about education in diverse children's books. And then about 13 years ago, I co-founded Read Your World. It used to be called Multicultural Children's Book Day, and that was to get diverse books, children's books, into the hands of readers. And then as the publishing space changed a little and got a little bit more welcoming for diverse voices, I kind of like snuck in, and I've been writing children's books maybe for about this past 7 years.
Fabulous. Well, eager to hear more about your own work later in the program. Hopefully, you'll have some time. David, welcome. Please share a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thanks for the invitation, Jay. And I'm David A. Kelly. I'm an author, and I've written a series of books called the Ballpark Mysteries. These are mysteries set in baseball stadiums, and of course, it starts out in Boston at Fenway Park with the Fenway Foul Up. But what's kind of interesting is I actually didn't start out to be an author. I actually started out in technology, computers. That's kind of why I'm in the Boston area. But like many people, I've got two sons, and they love baseball and they love mysteries, and I kind of thought it'd be kind of cool to put those together. So that's how I ended up as a children's book author, and I've got a lot of books out there now. But it's really this is such an amazing community that we have in Newton and in Massachusetts for authors and illustrators and book publishing people and readers. And it's such an exciting place to be. So that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited about this new festival, because it's so great to have something like this in Newton, in our own hometown.
Most definitely, most definitely. Well, I know as a parent and former teacher, having baseball mysteries would have been of high interest both to my son and to the students that I was teaching. So eager to find out more about your books. Janie, welcome. Would you please share a little bit about yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Janie Ho, and I am an author and an illustrator. I've been an illustrator for longer than I've been an author, but I do board books, picture books, and my latest passion is graphic novels. So I run comic workshops in schools and in libraries. And my connection with Newton is interesting because my daughter used to go to Newton Cantonese School for many, many years. So it's kind of nice to kind of have my personal be in there and just have a lot of now having this festival be there would be is wonderful. So
And as we'll soon see, you created, designed the poster for the
yes,
festival.
yes, I
Uh,
did. I had the honor to do that. So I'm very grateful for the team for having me do it. So
So look forward to hearing about some of your thoughts that went into it once we see it later. Jean, welcome. Please share a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Jay. Thank you so much for having us. My name is Jean. I am a Newton Public Schools educator. I work at Oak Hill Middle School. I'm the school librarian there. Before that, I taught fifth grade at Bowen, and I've been a Newton resident for almost 15 years now. And I echo what David said. We live in such a special part of the world. I love that we can connect over shared value of literature. And I love, I partner with Newtonville Books to help promote reading, to author offer events. And I'm just very excited to bring everyone together for such a positive reason.
Terrific, terrific. Well, it's no understatement to say that the library is really the hub of any school. And again, as a teacher, depended so much and enjoyed the collaboration with librarians to enrich the classroom. So eager to hear your input as we continue. Mia, would you start by sharing why and how the festival first came about, the inspiration, the motivation of you and others, please?
Sure. Well, I'll start by first saying that it's a very Newton-centered happenstance. So for example, David, Kelly, and I were carpooling to go to a Boston Authors Club event in Reading. And that's when I tagged him, and he was my first recruit. Janie Ho and I, years ago, we were in a picture book writing class. And that was that was a Newton education class, and also taught by the illustration professor at LaSalle. And so it was so thrilling to have Janie Ho in the class as like this published, mega illustrator. And after that class, we both actually got our first books published. I mean, she's had many, many, but her first author illustrator book, Bear and
Chicken.
Bear and Chicken. Yeah, fabulous. And then the Newtonville Books is also a really important connection. And so Jean and I were at a book event. I think it was for Ruth Behar, and that's how we met. And then, of course, I told her about this idea, and that I had David Kelly, who happens to be her kitty corner backyard neighbor. Like how small is this world? And then she was like, we were so happy to have her on board. And then when we thought about an illustrator, Janie was fabulous, and she was so nice to volunteer her time. She made the most incredible poster for us. But to go backwards in time, I think David, Janie, and I have all gone to Chappaqua Book Festival. Like, I'm more new to it, so I know David's been to thousands, and Janie as well. But I went to this first book festival and I thought, wow, this is incredible. They had like 160 authors and illustrators.
Wow.
And we're all driving 4.5 hours each way. We're staying in hotels, and and there's a big chunk of us from the Massachusetts area, from the Boston area. And it just hit me like, we're a pretty big city. But like, we don't really have a book event that's similar to a Chappaqua Children's Book Festival. Like, we have the Boston Book Festival, but it's not quite the same. It's like very hard to sort of be featured, and there's not like sort of a way where you can see all the authors all at once to get their books and get them signed. And so I had been kicking around this idea for a while, and then I kind of ran into someone that we used to carpool for soccer, my oldest, for club soccer. And then I said this idea, and I was thinking about another location. And then I happened to be at sort of a mom's, like a catch-up party. And then I ran into Emily O'Neill. So we have Pierce Elementary roots, and our oldest daughters played Newton Town Soccer together in like 5th grade. So we go way back. And and as I was kicking around the idea, Emily said, you should just do it at the New Art Center. We have the tables, we have the chairs, you don't have to rent them. And we have the list because we have, kids that come. And then I found her at the end of the party. She whips out her phone. She goes, these are the 2 weekends we can do it. And I was like, I'll take this date.
Wow.
And just like that, in February, it was done. you know? And so then it was like, oh, find some people, let's find some, you know, let's figure out who will be coming. And then let's, in terms of authors and illustrators. And so that was a real collaboration with Jean and David. And then, and now we're sort of in the most important part, which is let's get families and kids to show up, because it is December 14th, which is perfect if you're, you know, shopping for the holidays. Hanukkah falls late this year. Signed books are one of the few gifts you can give teachers in Newton. And I just think signed books are, you know, everyone loves signed books. And I think it helps get kids interested in reading.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, this sounds so fantastic because I think some of the more popular engaging days in school are when there's a book fair or an author visit. Those are sure win days as far as engagement of students and educators. So to have something like the Children's Book Festival is just the perfect event, especially for this community, as all of you mentioned. David, would you share a little bit about where things went from the initial idea to having a date to how did you and others go about organizing the event from there? Some of the logistics, challenges from that, please?
Sure. And I am going to reference Mia here because she really has been the driver for this whole thing. And it's really been tremendous, a tremendous effort on her part to coordinate all of this because, of course, we've got 60 plus authors coming and you've got to coordinate the logistics and everything else. So it's a huge involved process that we're going through, but it looks very successful so far. And I think we're all looking forward to December 14th and all the readers that are going to show up. And I think, Mia pointed out that it's kind of started as she recognized a real deficit in the community. That we, as authors, we go to all these book festivals in the Northeast and New York City and New York State and other places, but we didn't have anything here in Newton. So what a great opportunity with all these local authors and illustrators. And so, I really commend her for recognizing that and taking action on it, because that's always the hard part, is actually taking some action. And I think, putting together some people who cared about it was her first step, and then locating a place to have it, which is the New Art Center, which is a tremendous resource for us, and I think will be wonderful. And then you have to just start considering, who are you going to invite? What authors and illustrators are you going to invite? How many are you going to invite? How do you manage, how many tables can you fit? How do you handle things like, parking? We have also other events which Mia can speak to that are going to be going on around this as well. And then you have to think of logistics like food, and are we going to offering coffee or donuts or lunches or things like that? And then that's where you involve some community sponsors like Auto Pizza that's going to be contributing some pizzas and food, I believe. And then there's just the coordination of the whole process between here and the actual event. And Mia, I don't know if I've left anything out. I probably have.
Well, you left out the fabulous website, which David created for us and updates so efficiently. And it's really like he's sort of like the calm dad, so we don't take on too much, and that everything's sort of logical and, everything runs smoothly. He's kind of like like the checks and balances, but the website is so key because it keeps us organized, and it's our front facing. And so I have to thank David. He did everything from getting the URL to building it, to updating it. And yeah, can't thank him enough.
Well, thanks, Mia. But the one thing I didn't do is actually do the graphics, and that's where Janie comes in, because that poster that she created is wonderful, and I think we may get to that at some point here. But you have to communicate as much setup as we can do for the event. You also have to communicate into the outreach, which again Mia is leading the challenge, the charge on that, and you communicate that through the website as well as through graphics, as well as through getting the information out in press releases, as well as to schools. And Jean is helping us tremendously there as well.
Terrific.
Absolutely. And also the poster that Janie created, it's not just the poster front facing, but it's the images that we use for the logo. We made book plates out of it. I mean, it is just, it's such a great design, and we're able to use pieces everywhere. And, I can't imagine how we would have convinced people without such a beautiful image.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot to cover, but Janie, this seems to be the most appropriate time to just hear you briefly share some thoughts about what went into designing the poster that
Oh,
we see in
yeah.
front of us.
Sure. No, I was very honored when I got the email from Mia that she wanted me to design this poster. First of all, I was thrilled to hear that there was going to be a Newton Children's Book Festival, which was also my thought of, hey, we don't have one of these around here. And it would be nice because there is a lot of local authors and illustrators that would love to come and that are local, and it'll be easy to get to. And so when there were just several emails about information, but it really was giving credit to Jean, who said that the tagline for Newton was is like growing, it's the Garden City, I believe Newton is. So growing readers in the Garden City was the tagline that she came up with. And instantly I had images in my head of what it should be, just kind of readers and vines and growth and just growing readers in these kind of
Wonderful,
places.
wonderful. Well, for the sake of time, we're going to move on. And Janie, maybe you can continue. We heard Mia share a little bit about Read Your World and a little bit more about the collaboration with the New Arts Center.
Well, New Art Center is a really wonderful space that kind of fosters creativity and literacy, but maybe I can have Mia kind of talk a little bit about that as well, the New Art, the collaboration between Read Your World and New Art Center.
Yeah, I think it's just, nonprofits supporting other nonprofits, and sort of putting their weight into helping this event be created. So we're so grateful for the New Art Center for opening their doors, donating their space. We have also actually the West Newton Cinema Foundation is donating space as well. So we can do sort of a warm-up event with a book signing with Tui T. Sutherland. That will be Monday, December 9th at 5 p.m. And also we have the help of Friends of the Newton Free Library, who's helping us get the word out. And so it's sort of been so wonderful to have community support, but absolutely could not have happened without Emily O'Neill and the New Art Center.
Most definitely. Speaking of community, Jean, what are some of the goals of the festival in terms of its impact on the community and children's literacy?
We have many goals. The first is to bring families together with the shared understanding of the value of storytelling and stories and reading. And it's so important for kids to have a positive association with reading. And what's better than to have a space for young readers to meet the people who have created these books, because oftentimes, understandably, I can be the same way when I'm reading a book. I forget that a fellow human being, made this happen. I think it's also a great opportunity, community building wise, to bump into your neighbors, to meet new people that share that common interest. And similar to, what Janie was saying around the poster and the idea of growing readers, reading is something that needs to be nurtured and cared for, even if you see yourself as a book lover. And there's something, really special again about kids having the opportunity, and parents too, to foster their love of reading.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mia, as we see the website that David developed, would you share a little bit about how the authors and illustrators were selected for the festival?
Sure. So we just started, David, Jean, and I, with we each did a spreadsheet wish list of authors and illustrators that we knew that were, we just would love to have. And then we sort of did a quick geographic check, how far away are they? Because, it is December 14th, the Northeast, you just never know what kind of weather you're going to get. So in the event of inclement weather, we just thought the closer you are, the more likely you can come. If it's, it's not a 2-hour commute, it's like a 20-minute commute. And then, we were also just trying to figure out how many can we fit. And this is our pilot. So we opted for a smaller number just so we could manage it. And then so after we sort of, took our 3 spreadsheets and kind of converged it, there were some holes. And then, the authors that accepted gave us referrals. And so it's very much of a group where everyone's supporting each other.
Terrific, terrific.
And I actually might add in there, it's also a fairly diverse group of people and artists that kind of range in different types of books, different types of illustrations, different types of topics. And I think that speaks again to the aspect of community that we have here in Newton. It's very broad. So we really wanted to include a very wide set of authors and illustrators to kind of connect with as many people as we could at different age ranges and interest levels.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're thrilled to have Brian Lee's Caldecott Honor Picture Book author and illustrator, and also Rajani LaRocca, Newbery Honor author. Wow. And just I think when people come, they're going to see there's something for everyone.
Yeah, most definitely doing a little preview of the author and illustrators that we've been seeing on the graphic. Jean, in addition to the authors and illustrators, what are some of the other activities and opportunities?
We're going to have a creative space and Newtonville Books is helping with that, like a bookmark making station, which will be fun. And there are just going to be opportunities, this is free admission. We really want everyone to feel welcome. And Mia mentioned earlier that we have these beautiful book plates that authors can use to sign books, but there's also going to be opportunities for kids to go around and get authors and illustrators autographs, because we know how much fun that is. So whether your family, says, okay, everyone gets to choose one book or many books, or we're here to browse. We want kids to feel comfortable approaching the authors and illustrators to, ask them how they get their ideas. I think it's especially important for students to see themselves in the books that they're reading and see the people who are then creating those stories.
And
Wonderful.
Some of the authors, we might be luring interaction with like a little candy dish in front of us or stickers. Like you just never know how we're going to lure you in.
We all have our price. That's wonderful. David, what's the purpose and significance of involving some of the community partners like the Newton Free Library, Newtonville Books, the cinema?
Yeah, well, again, I think it's kind of core to the mission of kind of reaching out to the overall community and trying to make this as broad as possible. And specifically, like the Friends of the Library are there to help us communicate the message that this is happening and try to involve people. And what a great connection to have to the library itself, because you've already referenced what a great resource the Newton Public Library is for our community. And then I think that, Newtonville Books, this is a huge undertaking from their perspective. We're trying to get the authors to show up, but they've got to get the books to show up because that's what the people are there for. So they're going to be ordering multiple titles for each author usually, and that's just thousands of books that are going to need to be coming in to the New Art Center and organized and distributed and signed. So they've been tremendous, a great resource for our community with their store in Newton Center, but now supporting something like this, which is a really special initiative. So we're excited about that. And then Mia could probably speak to the West Newton Cinema Foundation, but they're allowing us to kind of host a pre-event there with a well-known author to again build interest in the festival, as well as giving people a place and a time to see this famous author. So yes. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add, Mia.
Yeah, I would add that Newtonville Books is offering a 20% discount to all teachers and librarians too, I believe, not just at the event, but just in general. And that if you can't make the event, you can pre-order the books before our event or even after, just by calling Newtonville Books. And this is their second busiest weekend of the year. So we're really grateful that they're getting 2 tables staffed for us for our event. And so we're hoping to pay it forward by just getting lots and lots of people to buy books. In terms of a West Newton Cinema Foundation, I was so lucky to meet them because one of our funders for Read Your World is the Village Bank. And of course, they also are all about community. So at one of the events, I just happened to meet Ray at West Newton Cinema Foundation. And then he told me they're reimagining the space as sort of a community space. And so when we were looking for bigger space, because Stewie T. Sutherland, I have a son who's a huge fan. I mean, she sold 13 million books. And so hundreds of people will show up for her. And Newtonville Books didn't really have the space, and it would overwhelm our new art center. And so they graciously offered their space as a volunteer free space for us. So we just feel so embraced by our community. And, you know, it's just a real reflection of how much Newton values, you know, teachers and literacy and, you know, helping kids. So thank you to everyone.
Most definitely. I know the initial plans that have been publicized about the upcoming renovation West Newton Cinema are very exciting for the city as a whole. Mia, just a very quick word about the sponsorship and the importance for supporting the festival.
Yeah, we're so grateful. We have the full sponsorship on our website, so please do check it out and give them some love, because without them, nobody would be fed, you know, or nor would they have a drop to drink. So the Drucker Group, Debbie Drucker, fantastic real estate group, Massachusetts Center for the Book, the Village Bank, Perfection Auto. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but they've just been so gracious and supportive and wonderful. And they're like, well, what do I get for it? We're like, well, David's building a website and we're going to make a poster at the event. And they're really more about, I just want you to help you get this event off the ground.
Terrific,
so
terrific.
We're so grateful and lucky to have everyone. Thank you to all our
Janie, in closing, how can viewers and others find out more about the festival?
Well, I think David's fabulous website, which is newtonchildrensbookfest.com, and also tickets for the warm-up event can go through Newtonville Books. So, yes.
Wonderful.
And that's Instagram too.
We do have an
Instagram. Yes, we have social media. Yes, Instagram handle.
Terrific, terrific. Well, unfortunately, we've come to the end of the program. Want to thank all of you for taking the time to be here, informing us about the very exciting upcoming festival. Look forward to attending, and I know it'll be the first of many more to come. So best of luck with this and future endeavors.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
Also want to thank those of you watching for joining, and hope you'll be able to tune in next time.